They thought she was just another quiet girl they could push around. They didn't know the hands they wrapped around her throat belonged to a fighter trained to end a match in seconds. But in school, this wasn't a ring, this was survival, and survival has its own rules. BTCTR 1. The quiet new girl Amara Johnson stepped into Westbrook High with her shoulders drawn in and her books pressed tightly to her chest. She had moved here just 2 weeks ago with her mom after her father's passing left them struggling to keep the rent. Her mom, Denise, had taken 2 jobs, one cleaning offices at night and another working at the diner during the day. Amara had promised herself she'd keep her head down, focus on grades, and make life easier for her mom. But high school had a way of sniffing out weakness, or at least what bullies thought was weakness. By the 3rd day, she had already noticed them, the group of 4 who owned the hallways. Brandon, tall, athletic, loud. Chelsea, Queen Bee with a cruel smile. Mason and Luke, the followers who laughed too loud at every insult. At first they just whispered when she passed. Then they started flicking her hair, accidentally, bumping into her, and calling her Library Mouse because she always had a book in her hands. She kept walking, ignoring them, because that's what her mom always told her. Don't start trouble, baby. We can't afford it. But trouble had a way of starting itself. One rainy Thursday, she was in the cafeteria, quietly eating her sandwich at the corner table when Brandon slammed his tray down next to her. "Hey, new girl," he said with a grin that didn't reach his eyes. Chelsea slid into the seat across from her, pretending to inspect Amara's clothes. "Where'd you get that jacket?" "A thrift store dumpster." The table erupted in laughter. Amara felt her face burn, but she didn't respond. She picked up her book and started to read. Mason snatched the book out of her hands. "Oh look, she's reading about dragons. You think you're some kind of warrior princess." When she reached for it, Mason held it above her head. Brandon leaned in and whispered, "Bet you've never even been in a fight. You'd cry if someone touched you." Her fists clenched under the table. He had no idea. No one here knew that before her dad passed, he'd been a professional MMA trainer. No one knew she'd been training since she was 6. Her weekends spent practicing jiu-jitsu, Muay Thai, and wrestling until her body ached. No one knew she had fought in youth tournaments and won. She kept it hidden because fighting here wasn't like fighting in the gym. Here, one mistake could ruin your future. But the bullies didn't back off. The next week in the science lab, Brandon cornered her. Chelsea and the others blocked the door. He grabbed the collar of her shirt. "Look at me when I'm talking to you." She stayed still, her eyes fixed on his chest, not in fear, but calculating distance, timing, and pressure points. Then he did it. Both hands came up and wrapped around her throat. The moment his grip tightened, something deep inside her shifted. The air felt sharper. Her vision narrowed. She heard her father's voice in her head. "If someone ever puts their hands on you and won't let go, you finish it. Fast." But she also remembered her mom. Don't start trouble. She had to make a choice, and she chose to end it without destroying her future. With one swift motion, she trapped his wrist, stepped to the side, and twisted his arm in a way that made him release instantly. Brandon stumbled back, shock and pain flashing in his eyes. Chelsea's mouth fell open. "Touch me again," Amara said quietly, her voice steady, "and you'll regret it." She walked out of the lab without looking back. But she knew this wasn't over. Not yet. EECHTR2. The day everything changed, the next few days were tense. The bullies kept their distance, but she could feel their eyes on her in the hallways. Rumors started. Amara knows karate. Oh, she's some kind of street fighter. Brandon got owned. At first, she didn't mind. But Brandon wasn't the type to let things go. Friday afternoon, the school gym was almost empty. Amara was walking toward the exit when she heard footsteps behind her. She turned. Brandon, Mason, and Luke were there. Chelsea leaned against the wall, recording on her phone. "Gonna embarrass me again, new girl," Brandon said, stepping closer. Mason grinned. This time no teachers around. Amara's mind raced. She could run, but they'd chase her. She could yell, but no one might come in time. Or she could finish this. Brandon lunged first, trying to grab her again. This time she didn't hesitate. She sidestepped, hooked her arm around his neck, and swept his leg in one move. He hit the mat with a thud. Mason came at her next. She pivoted, delivering a clean front kick to his chest that sent him stumbling back. Luke froze, hands up, muttering, "Yo, I'm good." I'm good. Chelsea lowered her phone. Stunned. Delete it, Amara said, walking toward her. Chelsea's hands shook as she deleted the recording. The room was silent except for Brandon groaning on the floor. Amara knelt down beside him. This isn't about fighting. This is about knowing when to stop. Learn that before you hurt the wrong person. She stood, grabbed her bag, and walked out, head high, steps steady. That day something changed. No one touched her again, and slowly, other students started coming up to her. Kids who had been bullied before, asking her advice, her help, her friendship. She realized she could use what she knew, not to hurt people, but to protect them. By the end of the year, she was running a small self-defense club at school, teaching kids to stand up for themselves without starting fights. Her father's voice stayed with her. The best fighter is the one who doesn't have to fight. And now, she finally understood what he meant.